2 years ago, a CT coronary angiogram found that I had a severe blockage in my LAD, the artery nicknamed the Widowmaker. The report said it was 90% blocked. I looked healthy and felt mostly fine, but the results showed a different story. In this video, I'll show you the scan results that found it, how I fixed it, the before and after stress test results, and what I'm doing now to prevent future problems. Testing beats guessing, and I'll show you why. Your cholesterol blood tests are risk markers and they estimate risk, but they don't show if plaque is actually building up in your arteries. Some people with normal cholesterol can still have dangerously high plaque that may be missed. And other people can have high cholesterol with no atherosclerosis. And for these people, taking a statin medication is not indicated. A cholesterol test only tells part of the story, and I've seen people with very high cholesterol yet zero plaque build up in their arteries. For me, it was different. I had moderately high cholesterol levels, but I've got a strong family history of heart disease. So I decided to do more testing to find out for sure what was going on. And the two choices are a CT angiogram or a calcium score test. A calcium score test measures the hard plaque only, while a CT angiogram looks at the hard plaque and also the soft plaque. And it's the soft plaque that is the kind that can rupture and trigger a heart attack. When I had my CT angiogram, I expected to see some mild atherosclerosis, especially with my family history, but nothing severe because for many years I've been following a super healthy diet, exercising, and doing all of the right things. But I was shocked. My CT angiogram showed severe LAD blockage, also known as the Widowmaker, and an urgent referral to a cardiologist. My calcium score was 176. While lots of people have higher numbers, for my age, 176 is quite high. And most importantly, the calcium score doesn't show the soft plaque. You can have a low calcium score, but if you still have dangerously high soft plaque that can rupture, that's a problem. The CT angiogram looks directly at your coronary arteries and shows soft and hard plaque and how tight any narrowings are. In my case, it showed a severe narrowing in the LAD, the Widowmaker artery, from 70 to 90% estimate. Severe narrowing in the side branch called D1, moderate disease in a couple of other arteries, and that combination, especially with the severe LAD, is why the report said urgent referral to a cardiologist. And that freaked me out. The report also explained why the calcium score alone wasn't enough for me. I had significant soft plaque, which doesn't show up on the calcium score test, but it raises the risk of a sudden heart attack. So the bottom line is the calcium score helps to estimate risk, but the CT angiogram shows what's really there, including the soft plaque and whether blood flow could be limited. If you have a family history or heart disease, high cholesterol, homocysteine, or other cardiovascular markers, or you're fit and healthy but something feels off, a CT angiogram is the test that can see and let you know what the full picture is. Let me know in the comments if you were surprised by your scan results, and this can work both ways. Like for me, you could be surprised that the levels were so bad, but for others, they could have high cholesterol and a zero calcium score test. I once had a client with a cholesterol in her 400s, but when she got her calcium score, it was 0. Next, I got a referral to a cardiologist. But before I got to see her, I was referred to get an echocardiogram and an ECG of my heart. And these came back fine. And then just before I saw the cardiologist, I had a treadmill stress test. She said that I had passed the test and I'd lasted 9 minutes, and this gave me a score of 10 METs, which is considered a pass. METs are a simple way to say how hard your body is working. 1 MET is your body at rest, like sitting quietly. 4 METs means you're working 4 times harder than rest. Think a brisk walk. And 10 METs is vigorous, like jogging or running. But the ECG started going wonky at 135 beats per minute, with this ST segment change, meaning reduced blood flow when I was at exertion. Despite this, the cardiologist was happy with the results, probably because she was comparing me to the average person, and she explained that medical management was the best option. I was happy with this because from my own research, I showed that surgery or stents were only indicated when you were symptomatic, and I was asymptomatic with very few symptoms. I was given the green light to exercise, but I had to keep my heart rate at below 135. And the cardiologist also said medical management was necessary, so she prescribed a low-dose statin to help stabilize the soft plaque, along with a low-dose aspirin. I know some people are very anti-statins, and I was one of them until I looked more into the research on how they work, which is stabilizing the plaque and not just lowering cholesterol. Think of this like a river. You have upstream medicine, which is what I like, and downstream medicine. Upstream medicine is all about prevention, food quality, exercise, nutritional supplements, good quality sleep, stress management, sunlight. Downstream medicine is modern medicine, and it's like when you're close to a waterfall and about to go over. You might need surgery, medicines, imaging, and so sometimes downstream medicine is necessary. With my CT angiogram results showing severe blockage, that meant I was too far downstream to rely on natural treatments alone. So we're going to use both a low-dose statin to help stabilize the plaque, and I'm doubling down on all the upstream habits that I was previously doing. So fast forward 1 year, and I started getting more and more symptoms. I was getting like weakness and dizziness at altitude, and whenever I exercised at a higher level, I was starting to feel that weakness again. I wasn't getting any other symptoms like breathlessness on exertion or anything like that. I spoke to the cardiologist because I wasn't able to run a level that I wanted to be able to exercise at. So she's referred me to a coronary angiogram test. This is where a tiny tube goes in, usually through the wrist. They look through a camera and they can go right through the arteries and find out exactly what's blocked and what's narrowed. You're usually awake, and most people go home the same day of the procedure. And the goal is, is there a blockage? How severe is it? And whether it needs to be fixed or even referred to get a coronary bypass operation. When I had the CT angiogram, the results were way worse than the doctors anticipated. I had the 90% blockage in the LAD artery and also some severe blockages in other arteries of the heart. And the cardiologist gave me a choice. I could either get bypass surgery or do stents that day, and he was hoping that he could fix it just by using stents and I could go home that day. So I chose the stent option. So they used a combination of stents and balloon angioplasty to open up some of the arteries. The recovery took some time. It wasn't instant, but over the few weeks I was able to build up my exercise again, and 2 months later I had a follow-up treadmill stress test. This time I went 13 minutes and 40 seconds, and that was a lot more than before, and I reached a level of 17 METs. 17 is very high, and in fact it puts me in the high range for a healthy 20-year-old, as you can see on this chart. Previously I had a 10, so that was a big improvement. I was able to read 100% of my age predicted heart rate maximum at 164, and there was no ischemia like on the previous test. So I was given the green light to exercise as much as I like. And I took this literally, and I've been training for a marathon and just ran a marathon a few weeks ago. But one important note, I'm not 100% clear. I still have some moderate narrow arteries that they couldn't fix at the time, and I'm continuing to do the lifestyle and statin to help stabilize that plaque. So testing beats guessing. If you've got a family history or concerns about heart health, there are advanced blood tests out there that you can do, and I highly recommend tests like the CardioZoomer. This can help to understand what the cause of your heart disease may be, and you can be more proactive with those upstream medicine treatments. But also ask about a CT angiogram or a calcium score test as another option to find out if you've got atherosclerosis. Heart disease still remains the #1 cause of death, but it's also very preventable, and my goal for this video is to make people aware of the choices they have, and not just to stop at checking your cholesterol levels, but to do the more advanced heart tests, check genetic markers using tests like the self-decode test, and potentially doing more advanced scans. I'll leave links to the genetic tests, the cardiovascular testing, and everything else I've mentioned in this video in the description below.